What's happening, guys? So got a good question, something that I wanted to cover in my video this week, and that is, do you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight? We hear so much about all the different things that we can do to lose weight, and everyone's got their own different dieting strategies, and insert some diet with a name or whatever else, or you don't have to worry about calories, just worry about fat, or just worry about carbs, or just worry about moving more, or whatever else. You know, we have all these different theories about how to lose weight, and the answer is really a very simple yes. You have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. But what we have to keep in mind is what a calorie deficit entails is very, very, very complex. There's a lot of things that go into it, and some of the things that go into it that we don't normally think of are things like our own personal dieting history, right? Where our metabolism is at that point, what we've done in the past, what we're doing right now. There's a lot of things that come into play, but you do have to burn more calories than you consume to see weight loss, or hopefully we're specifically talking about fat loss here and not just any type of weight. Hopefully at this point you know that there's a difference between the two, right? I hope. Anyway, so say you have a long history of dieting. Say you've been yo-yo dieting on and off all your life for the last 20 years, and you're just in a position where you feel like you just put on weight really easily and it's really hard to lose weight. This is a very common position for people to be in. This is because of your long history of dieting. You have to understand that the metabolism adapts down to dieting, and it's very, very hard in the body to do a lot of dieting. So while we may look at some calculators online and say, eat this many calories and you'll be able to lose weight, it doesn't necessarily work for you. Most of the time it's not, because your body is very unique. Right? So there's some physiological processes that happen inside the body that make it more difficult and makes it so you're not actually burning as many calories as you think. So there's things like your resting metabolic rate, which makes up a huge portion of the amount of calories you burn on a daily basis. And this is just basically the amount of calories you burn just to basically exist and survive. All the functions that happen within the body that keep you going and keep you alive. If you were to literally just lay in the bed and do absolutely nothing all day long, that's how many calories you would burn. All right, that drops from dieting. You have a thermic effect of food. All right, so there's a rough amount of calories that your body burns just processing the food that you eat. Right? And I've talked a lot in the past about how protein has a much higher thermic effect than other macros. I'm not going to get into this topic in this video, but there is a thermic effect of food. That drops from dieting, right? There's a thermic effect of exercise, which is basically the amount of calories that your body burns during exercise. That drops from dieting, right? And you know, especially when it comes to cardio, it's like the body really adapts very well to cardio. So when you do a lot of like just steady state cardio, you have to continue to do more and more and more and more to kind of get the same amount of benefit. So it's usually pretty ineffective to just constantly do a ton of cardio all the time, because the body really adapts to that, and you're going to burn less calories from that exercise all the time. And especially if you've done it a lot, if you have a long history of it, a long history of dieting, and your metabolism adapt down, you're going to burn much less calories from the cardio that you do than would be on, again, like say you were to use the little heart rate thing on the treadmill that tells you how many calories you burn, or a heart rate monitor, or whatever else you're using that tells you how many calories you're burning. Those usually give you a number way, way higher than what you're actually burning. All right, so we have that to keep in mind. Then we have to factor in things like how our hormones change from dieting. All right, there's just so many things that happen within the body that make it really complex. So while you may be eating really low calories in general, if you're maintaining your weight on those calories, that is not a calorie deficit for you. All right, even if some TDEE calculator or macro calculator or whatever else you're using says that it should be a big deficit for you, if you're doing it and you're doing it consistently and you're not losing, it's not a deficit. All right, and this is probably in part to that long history of dieting that I was talking about. This is where we need to stop and say, okay, I can't keep dieting. I need to reverse diet. I need to get my metabolism into a better place so that I can put myself in a position where I can create a calorie deficit down the road to lose weight more efficiently. But again, that's for a different video. I've got tons of videos on reverse dieting that you can go to. You can go to my channel, you can plug in, or just go to my channel and go to playlists. There's one called Reverse Diet. There's probably, I don't even know, there's probably a dozen or more videos on reverse dieting in there, if not closer to 15 to 20. I'm not sure, there's a lot. So now I know what you're probably thinking. Well, that's great, but how do I know what a deficit is for me? Best thing I can tell you if you're not tracking right now, that's the first thing you need to do, all right? Don't change your eating habits at all, but just start tracking and see what it looks like. Track it for a week, track your weight for that week, all right? Don't change anything. That's gonna kind of give you an idea of how many calories you're eating. You can take the average for the week of how each day, plug it in, divide it by 7, that's how many calories you're eating, all right? Now you have a general idea, all right? Now if you will have more room to budge, all right, if you feel like you can drop your calories some and not completely hate life and be able to stick to it, all right, now you can make some adjustments and you can drop your calories and hopefully get things going. All right, but you have to know how much you're eating, otherwise we're just kind of taking a stab at the dark and hoping for the best, eating different foods and hoping for magic foods to take over, which there are no magic foods. Again, that's for a different video topic. But basically, know how much you're eating. Right? If you're not losing, you need to drop your calories and or increase your cardio to create a bigger deficit to be able to lose that weight. If you're in a position where you're already eating low calorie and doing high cardio and the thought of making changes just seems too overwhelming, that's okay. Do not stop and just totally give up. Stop and reverse diet and work on your metabolism and then come back to dieting down the road so you can have some actual success. But the answer to the main question of the video, which I've already answered, is yes, you 100% have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. If you are not losing weight, you are not in a calorie deficit. It's as plain as simple as that. But like I said, a lot goes into what creates a deficit for each person, and it's completely different for every person. All right. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that clears some things up. Any questions, please let me know, and I will talk to you later.
I'm addicted to the love that you're giving. Every minute, every day I've been craving.